Okay, I've done a Google search for SPSS medical data sets, and this is the second page. I'm going to borrow somebody's statistical package. In this case, it looks like it's Medical Statistics, second edition, and we'll just try the SPSS version of this. And we'll open this up. And we have a statistics worksheet. We can look at various things. We'll try to just change it a little bit to make it so it looks like we can figure out what's going on. There's some dates. Looks like it's fairly old. Birth date, we don't have that for everyone. But we've got lots of interesting data here. Certainly there'll be enough data to make a table and graph. To start figuring out what's going on, we'll go to the variable view, and it looks like the authors of this data set have done a fairly thorough job of defining what it is, what the variables are. Okay, so we'll go back here and look at this data. Looks like there's a current smoking variable, and what is that one? Current smoking at baseline, and diabetes, body mass, categories of BMI, current smoker. All right, that should work. Let's just do a simple table. Let's go back to data view, analyze, descriptive statistics, crosstabs, and let's just look at current smoker and categories of BMI. There's only a few categories in each one, so this should give us a nice table. And let's just click OK. Resize this to make it viewable. And it's hard to really tell what's going on here. So what we're going to do with this, looks like about more than half of the people are current smokers. So let's ask for some more detailed kind of results. Let's do crosstabs again. But as part of this, let's ask for row percentages. And then let's also ask for statistics. And we'll ask for chi-square, even though we really don't know what it means yet, but that's later in the semester. So we're asking for statistics and some cell percentages. We click OK, and this is our data. It looks like basically we're going to learn that we look at the Pearson chi-square, and if that's less than 0.05, it is statistically significant. So this is statistically significant, which means that the distribution of categories of BMI are different for current smokers and non-current smokers. And looking at this, we see that if they are not a smoker, they're more likely to be overweight. That would be the interpretation of this table. Now, if I wanted to take this table and put it into to a Word document, I could just go highlight, just put my mouse over the table, right click it, click on copy, and then I go to open a Word document. I'm just going to open a blank document, and I'm going to paste that table in there. If I wanted to be a little bit more, to be able to have more control over what that table looked like, I could go to open an Excel file, just another blank worksheet. I can paste the table from SPSS into Excel. I can edit this a little bit. I can change things if I want, change the titles, and then I can copy this. I can go back to my Word document. I can paste it in my Word document. Looks pretty much the same. This doesn't look like it's too different, but it's very possible to do a lot of editing of an SPSS table and then paste it into Word. Either one is fine. Okay, back to SPSS. Back to our data set. And now let's look at, I'm not exactly sure what, because I'm not a medical person, fibrinogen at baseline. Looks like it's an interesting variable. I have an idea what it is, but I'm not sure. Okay, so let's do a graph, and let's do a legacy dialogue, and we're going to draw histograms because that's what the assignment asks for. Going back over here, let's do function at baseline, and let's do rows of current smoker, and see what we get. Okay, this is a fairly clean picture. Looks like it's not a lot higher, but it's somewhat higher for the smokers. We can do the same kind of thing. Well, let's edit this. So I'm just left-clicking on the graph, and then I'm right-clicking, and then I'm going to go down here to edit content in a separate window. And this is what I get. Suppose I don't like this background. So I can go to the Properties window. What I did is I highlighted it, and then I went to Properties. I keep going on the wrong screen here. And let's just make that in the background and apply. Made a white background. Let's click on this. Let's change the color. Let's make it, just kind of a gray. Or blue, rather. I can't say that that makes a lot of difference, but we'll go back to kind of a gray or a tan. I don't like that either. Let's try a gray. And you can see I'm just choosing different things. Okay, I like that one. If I want to save that, I just close the chart editor, and I have my chart from SPSS. I'm going to right click on the chart. I'm going to click on copy. I'm going to go back to my Word document. Give myself some room to type some comments in there. Paste the graph. Yeah, okay, that gives me something to talk about. Let's do one more. Again, we'll go to Legacy and we'll go histogram. Rather than current smoker, well, let's go diabetes. Let's change let's even do something different. Let's go down here and look at categories of BMI as rows. So we'll look at diabetes as a function of categories of BMI. Click OK. Didn't do much for us. It just gives us yes or no. So we don't like this graph. To get rid of it, I'll just highlight it and then hit the delete key, and it's gone. And we'll try a different one. And we'll do another graph, legacy, histogram. Certainly we don't like diabetes because that didn't work. Let's go back to our total cholesterol, or HDL cholesterol, why not? And we'll display the normal curve just to show it how it can be done, and then click OK. Okay, cholesterol seems to be not a whole lot different, except for the underweight people. And we'll right click on this again, and we'll edit the content. We'll do it in a separate window. Let's do properties again. Yeah, let's do no. Now let's see if we can just change this. No, it doesn't seem to. Well, let's just change the color. Have a little bit different color. And we'll close this just by Xing it out. There's our graph. We'll copy this back to Word. Control Enter puts me on a new page. Right click. We're going to paste this. And let's make this just a little bit bigger. Not too big. That's all it's going to let me. That's all it's going to let me do. It's not going to let me. Just so I can read it, because I have old eyes. All right, that's our second graph. Let's say we don't particularly like this one. We want to change this a little bit. And let's go back and do another graph. Graph, legacy diagram, same thing. Let's get rid of the normal curve. And let's try total cholesterol, or let's diastolic blood pressure. Click OK. Not a whole lot of difference there. That one seems to be more linear. We could choose this one. We won't. The point of this is we can look at a lot of data very easily We note that, like on this one, there are some real extremes, really low values and very high values. And we could even do some more. Well, let's do another crosstabs. Another contingency table. Let's change this one to, let's say, of social class. We'll use that one. And we'll use smoking. Why not? Find that it is statistically significant. And in general, there's not a lot of a very big effect, but there's some small effect. Might want to include that, might not. Easy enough to do. Copy. And we could go back up to the... Okay, this one's a little big. We'll see if we can make this one a little bit smaller. Because sometimes students have problems with these when they get too big. I can move that in, maybe. Alright, so that doesn't fit very well. Let's say we want to change it. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our Excel file, paste it in Excel, and let's just say, well, I'm going to have to merge and center to let me change it. Let's just say I want to get rid of this column. I'm going to delete this column, shift cells left, sure, and then I can take this, copy it back to Word. Let's say I don't like this one. I can get rid of it. Come on. And I'll delete the table. Now I'm going to paste my Excel table in there, which is a little bit cleaner. Let's say I like this table better. So that shows how to go from SPSS output to Excel to Word. Now I can comment on this, write whatever I want, and I'm done. I submit this assignment. And that's all there is to it.